Magandang gabi, mga karuba, mga kaibigan, mga mag-aaral, mga minamahal naming mag-aral, mga enthusiast, mga gustong matuto sa larangan ng automotive. Ngayon po ay ating isa katuparan ng ating pinangako. Ito't i-upload na natin yung ating video patungkol po sa automotive technology sa internal combustion engine. So, generally po, meron tayong tinatawag na dalawang klase or two general classifications of automotive. Ang mga ito po ay yung tinatawag nating external combustion engine and yung internal combustion engine. So let's start with the external combustion engine. Ano ba ang tinatawag nating external combustion engine? Katulad ng nakikita nyo dito sa ating presentation, ang external combustion engine ay nagmumula yung kanyang power dito sa labas ng cylinder. Ito po yung cylinder wherein nandun po yung piston natin and yung external combustion engine is nanggagaling dito sa labas. So in this slide, you can see na yung coal, which is creating the combustion, ay pinapainit niya yung medium natin, which is yung tubig dito. The blue one, the darker. Whereas, kapag ka ito ay kumulo at or nag-init at kumulo na, this will create steam. So yung lighter part nito dito sa taas is steam. And this is steam since it will create pressure. Okay? Dahil mainit po to and law of physics, mag-expand po yung mga atoms nito. So yung expansion ng atoms nito will push, okay? Or will fill this area up to dito sa ibabaw ng piston. And this will continue until such time na yung pressure nito will be enough to push etong piston against dito sa crankshaft. And in so doing, makikita nyo po na iikot na and tatakbo na yung ating trend. Usually ito is yung steam engine was used mainly sa mga malalaking equipments and one of them is ito nga yung trend. Kailangan namang may ilagay natin to sa engine room ng sasakyan, di ba? Okay? So, ito yung tinatawag nating external combustion engine. Okay? Yung pangalawa po na classification, which is actually ang focus natin, kasi ito yung ginagamit natin, ito yung magiging focal point ng discussion natin, is yung internal combustion engine. Ang internal combustion engine naman as compared to the external combustion engine, lahat ng power na mag-e-enable or magpapatakbo sa sasakyan will be coming from within. Okay? So internally. Ito yung loob ng makina ng sasakyan natin. Ito yung piston niya. These are the two valves. And ito sa gitna is the spark plug wherein it is installed dito sa coil pack. Coil pack po ang tawag natin dito. Sa ibang brand, they call it the ignition coil. Okay? And in operation, yung combustion is nangyayari dito kapag ka itong piston natin is bumababa, it creates pressure difference dito sa taas ng piston as compared to the atmospheric pressure. Alam naman po natin that atmospheric pressure is 14.7 PSI. Yun yung normal atmospheric pressure natin. And when the piston moves down for the intake stroke, it will leave this area here to have a lesser vacuum or a lesser pressure as compared to that in the outside. That is why vacuum will be created here. And that will cause yung air to move. Okay? To move papasok dito sa loob ng ating cylinder. Until such time that the piston reaches yung tinatawag nating bottom dead center, si baba. Kapag sumagad na siya sa baba, then the intake valve closes. Magsasara na yan. Kapag nagsara yan, paakyat na rin to. Pataas na rin yung piston. Okay? Pag nag-start na siyang mag-move pataas, that will already be the start of compression stroke. Yung compression stroke po is, yun yung tinatawag nating stroke na kung saan yung pumasok dito, okay, na air plus yung in-spray ng injector na air will be compressed. Okay? Nakalimutan ko rin palang sabihin sa inyo na yung injector will inject fuel not necessarily during intake stroke. Okay? Malalaman yun yan in our succeeding topics wherein yung mga other brands like Porsche, hindi lang one time yung injecting ng fuel. Okay, hindi lang siya mag-inject ng fuel na isang beses in a single cycle of operation. Hindi po. May mga pagkakataon na mag-inject siya ng dalawa. Okay? Minsan nga 3 pa. In just a cycle of operation. So, yan yung power stroke. Pag pataas na, na-compress na yung air and fuel mixture, theoretically po, ang ideal or the ideal air fuel mixture is 14.7 to 1 by weight. Yan yung ideal air fuel ratio or yan yung tinatawag nating stoichiometric ratio. Okay? So yan yung sisindihan na ngayon ng spark plug. Yan yung susunugin ng spark plug. Prior to the piston reaching yung top dead center na sinasabi or yung pinakamataas na bahagi ng cylinder na kung saan maaabot niya bago siya bumaba, Yung spark plug naman will create spark. Okay? That is why meron tayong tinatawag na timing. Okay? That timing, we will come to discuss about it sa mas advanced na discussion. Okay? So, for this slide, makikita nyo na ang ICE or internal combustion engine, what I would want you to put in or to remember is yung power that runs the engine comes from within the cylinder ng makina mismo. Okay, it is developed sa combustion chamber. Ang combustion chamber po is formed by yung top ng piston kapag ka nandito na siya sa BDC. Okay, near BDC, more or less. Formed by that, plus dito sa mga parte na to, yung valve, babaw niya, and this part of the cylinder head. Okay, so that forms yung combustion chamber. Next, meron pong iba't ibang classifications ng makina based on construction. Meron tayong tinatawag na SOHC or the single overhead cam. Meron tayong tinatawag na DOHC, wherein yan yung nakikita nyo sa mga emblems or logos ng inyong stickers ng inyong mga sasakyan. Yung number of cylinders, kung ilan yung cylinders niya, mayroong 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on and so forth. And meron din tayong classifications ng engine base sa kung ilan yung number of valves niya. We are talking here per cylinder. And then meron din tayong tinatawag na meron din tayong tinatawag na inline, wherein yung mga cylinders form a single line. And then the V-type engine. Meron pang isa rito, which is hindi ko na rin lang sinali, yan po yung Wankel engine or the rotary type engine. Maybe in our succeeding discussions, we will come to talk a bit about it. Okay? So, moving forward, makikita nyo dito na yung ating system or yung single overhead cam na sinasabi is actually an arrangement na kung saan meron lang siyang isang camshaft. Okay? So makikita nyo dito, meron siyang camshaft, meron siyang camshaft pulley or camshaft gear, and then meron din siyang camshaft gear, meron siyang crankshaft pulley, and yung camshaft nyo moves in the same or at the same time as the crankshaft pulley rotates. So kada ikot nung crankshaft nyo, okay, meron ding corresponding movement itong camshaft. Okay? So, yung valves. Okay? Kikita nyo rito, each cylinder has two valves. The intake and the exhaust. Yung intake, yan yung papasok which allows the air and fuel mixture to go inside. Okay? That is in some arrangement. In other arrangements, ang pumapasok lang dyan is hangin. And yung isa, yung exhaust valve naman, ay dyan lumalabas. Okay? It opens and closes the opening for the exhaust or the burned and unburned gases as caused by combustion. Always yung size ng yung diameter ng intake valve will always be mas malaki as compared to that of the exhaust valve. Kasi kung maalala nyo, dapat it has to suck, okay? Air or fresh air, atmospheric air has to go inside the or the cylinder, okay? As much as possible. Kung pwedeng marami, dapat marami. Dahil wala pong nagpapump ng air papasok dyan. Not like when the piston is at, or the cylinder it is at the exhaust stroke, yung cylinder will push the burn and unburned gases dahil papaakyat to eh. Pag pataas na yan, itutulak niya ngayon yung burn and unburned gases dyan. So, at that time, nakabukas yung exhaust valve. So, ipupush niya yan lahat-lahat. Okay? Yan yung exhaust and intake difference. Mas malaki, remember this, mas malaki palagi yung intake valve. So, yung intake valve and the exhaust valve are pushed down para magbukas by yung cam lobe. Okay? Yan. Cam lobe. Yan. So, meron tayong hydraulic valve adjusters. Meron tayong, in this arrangement, meron siyang sariling hydraulic valves adjusters. So, yun yung tinutulak ng cam lobes natin. So, kung bakit ito tinawag na single overhead cam is yung camshaft is located on top and mag-isa lang siya to activate, to open and close yung mga valves. Okay? Yan yung dahilan kung bakit tinawag na single overhead cam. And ito, kalimitan nakikita natin, lalo na sa mga sasakyan natin, may nakalagay pati na DOHC or double overhead cam. Kung 4 cylinders at meron nito, double overhead cam, at most, you have 16 valve. Makikita nyo, 16 valve DOHC. As compared to that of the single overhead cam, ito, dalawa yung camshafts niya. Ito, tsaka yan. So in this arrangement, makikita nyo na at one side, yung exhaust valves, dalawa siya. And at the other side, yung intake valves. Dalawa rin siya. Same as that in the SOHC, it is also operated by hydraulic valveless or hydraulic valve lifters. Next. The most common cylinder arrangements We have the inline type. Ito yung sinasabi ko sa inyo kanina na yung inline type natin, yung mga cylinders are arranged in a single line. Tapos mag-isa lang. Ang advantage nito is maiksi lang yung hindi siya ganung kalapad, but the disadvantage nito is masyadong mataas. So chances are yung bonnet mo, sa bonnet kasi ang tawag sa European brand ng mga yung hood, okay? Yung hood mo is masyadong mataas. So ang magiging design ng sasakyan mo nito is lalayo yung center of gravity mo. Okay, dahil kailangan mong itaas yung sasakyan. Next is the V-type. Sa iba, V-type, yung iba 45 degrees V, yung iba is 60 degrees and so on and so forth. Nasa sa manufacturers yan. And then, we have, dito pala, yung cylinders are arranged in a letter V position wherein one side, bank, okay? Bank ang tawag dito. Bank 1 and bank 2 is merong single line ng cylinder. So, dalawang single lines arranged in a V formation. Yung connecting rods nila. So, as compared to ito, yung V-type engine natin allows room for flexibility doon sa taas ng bonnet or yung hood natin. So medyo mas okay na ayusin ng mga designers ng sasakyan. Okay? And sa boxer type naman, ito usually is mounted sa mostly sa mga mid engines or the rear end mounted engines. And this allows a very low gravity, center of gravity ng sasakyan. So kaya ginagamit ito sa mga racing cars. Okay? Doon ginagamit itong mga flat boxer type or flat engine or boxer type. Bakit boxer type? Kasi yung piston moves horizontally, parang na boxer na sumusuntok. Kaya tinawag na boxer type. In other brands, they call it horizontal opposed engine kasi ito they move to opposite sides. Itong piston niya kabilaan naman. Okay? Then ito siya sa Porsche, ito ginagamit sa karera, sa mga racing cars ng Porsche. Yung Carrera, yung Boxster, Cayman. Yun, doon ginagamit itong mga ito. And makikita nyo mas madaling lumamig to dahil yung mga doon sa may cylinder part niya, okay, sa taas at dito sa cylinder head saka dito sa cylinder part, makikita nyo puno yan ng parang cooling fins. Okay? So yung dissipation ng heat or the heat dissipation for this design is or allows for a very, very efficient cooling efficiency ng makina na to. The V engine, as I initially discussed, so V-type engine has two banks of cylinders. So it's either 60 degrees or 90 degrees. Depende sa designer, manufacturer. Kung nilang 45 degrees, nasa kanila yun. That depends on their purpose. Okay? And as I said, in this arrangement, the designers will have a room to lower the bonnet, okay, para sa kanilang designs. Storage area ng mga additional parts that are to be mounted in the engine room, mas maluwag. So ito, makikita nyo rito yung very sample of a flat or a Baxter type engine. Ito is the exact engine na gamit sa 911 Carrera S model. Ito ay ginamit sa year 2020 na Carrera S model. So this is a bi-turbo flat engine. Dalawa yung turbo ng makinang to. It's a 3.0 liter engine. Itong makina na to. Yung sinasabi ko kanina, kung makikita nyo yung arrangement ng pistons niya, yan, kabilaan. Kabilaan, pistons, and tignan nyo yung timing chain niya. Iisa lang yung ginamit na timing chain. Twin cam dito sa side na isang side, twin cam din dun sa kabila. So, 4 yung camshafts nito. And merong itong mga features na for now, pagka diniscuss natin, medyo malilito kayo. Ito yung tinatawag na VarioCam or the VarioCam Plus. Pwede ko rin i-discuss yan kapag ma-discuss natin yung importance ng valve timing, valve overlap, which will be discussed sa ating mga succeeding topics. Single cylinder engine. These are the types of engine that are classified based on the number of cylinders. Yung single cylinder engine, yan yung nakikita nyo sa mga small engines na sinasabi. Ito yung mga generators, sa mga water pumps, motorcycles. Ito yung karaniwang ginagamit sa mga lawn mowers, grass cutters natin. Single cylinder engine. Mag-isa lang kasi yung cylinder niya. So, it might be 2-stroke. There are also 4-stroke cycle. So, with regards to the number of strokes, we will discuss about that in the next succeeding slides. So, the 2-cylinder engines, arrangement ito most of the times B-type na kung saan ginagamit sa mga motorcycles. Like the single cylinder engine, it comes in 2 and 4-stroke cycle. The inline 3-cylinder. So 3-cylinder inline. yung mga maliliit na sasakyan, gumagamit ito. Yung mga usually mga 1,000 cc, 900 cc, ganyan. Yung mga Suzuki Carry, yung Suzuki Alto, ganyan. Yung Kia Picanto, I think 3-cylinder din. There are also other brands that uses the 3-cylinder arrangement, lalo na ngayon na people are looking for rides that are economical in terms of fuel. They are going for the 3-cylinder lower displacement engines. And this is it. And most of the time, nagamit sa ating mga sedan na sasakyan, ito, the inline 4. Okay? Inline 4. So, 4 cylinders, 4-stroke cycle gasoline engine. Meron ding diesel, inline 4. Pero kalimitan pa rin, ginagamit natin na inline 4 sa ating mga sedan are petrol or the gasoline engine. It comes in 16 valves. Meron ding in this arrangement tinatawag natin na 16 valves. So 4 valves per cylinder. Apat yung cylinders niya, 4 kada cylinder, so 16 valves. Kaya tinawag na 16 valve. There are also other types of cylinder arrangement which seems to be unfamiliar, pero sabi nga is I just want to awaken you guys. I just want to inform you all na meron ding mga ganitong designs ng makina. And I want to go further about this because some are used in demo cars, but for curiosity's sake, pwede rin nyo ring i-check sa internet kung saan ginamit itong mga. Then there are two classifications of fuel based on of engine based on fuel used. Meron tayong diesel engine and meron tayong gasoline engine. Sa diesel engine, ang pumapasok lang dito during intake stroke is solely, okay? Mag-isa lang siya, hangin lang, pure air lang. Okay, during intake stroke. Tapos, during compression, kapag kapataas na yung piston, ito kasi yung tinatawag nating strokes. Piston stroke. Yung intake stroke, yan yung stroke na kung saan yung piston nyo, ito, pababa siya. So from here, theoretically, from top dead center hanggang sa bottom dead center, pababa. So that is the intake stroke. Pagkatapos ng intake stroke, theoretically ulit, from bottom dead center hanggang sa top dead center, yun yung compression stroke. And then, pababa ulit siya from bottom dead center to from top dead center, to bottom dead center, and that is power stroke or the combustion stroke. And then, lastly is from bottom dead center to top dead center for the exhaust system. Dito, sa intake stroke, yung intake valve nyo, sinasabi ko kanina, is nakabukas siya. It is open. That will allow the entrance of air from the atmosphere through your intake manifold, okay, sa air cleaner nyo, passing through the air cleaner. So, papasok dyan, pababa, pupuniin niya yan. And then, kapag ka napuno na siya, dito, paakyat yung piston para i-compress yung hangin. Okay? I-compress niya yan. More so, that yung compression ratio nyo is or can go from 22 to 1 to 23 to 1 even, as high even as 23 to 1 compression ratio. Meaning, yung volume dito is 23 times. Okay, yung size niya, 23 times as big as yung makompress na dito. And, alam naman po natin na when you compressed air, you are creating a higher temperature of that compressed air, lalo na kapag you have this compression ratio. So, kapag kinompress mo yan, iinit yan. Wala siyang spark plug. No. Kapag nandito na siya, okay, near the top dead center, mag-i-spray yung injector ng diesel fuel, atomized diesel fuel. Sa mga luma, meron tayong tinatawag na injection pump. Pero nowadays, we have already a very, very efficient fuel injection system sa mga diesels. Meron nang yung common rail diesel injection. So, it injects high pressure diesel fuel dito. Dahil high pressure siya, at saka highly atomized siya, tapos i-introduce mo siya dito sa compressed air dito, which is as hot as 600 degrees centigrade. Susunugin niya yan. Susunog yan. And that will create the power stroke or the combustion stroke. And that pressure of expanding gases, burned and unburned, will create that high of a pressure to push yung piston pababa. Okay? Ulitin natin. Intake stroke, intake valve open, hangin galing sa labas, papasok dyan. Dahil magkakaroon ng vacuum dito sa itaas ng piston as the piston moves down, leaving this area here. This area will be filled with atmospheric air. As the piston reaches bottom dead center, it will go up, compressing this air, and it will compress it to a ratio of 23 parts and will become 1 part. And soon as the piston reaches TDC, the injector will spray atomized fuel, and because of the heat of compression, the sprayed or injected fuel will be burned. That will be the start of combustion stroke. Pababa siya. Then, that will be continued up to the time that the piston reaches bottom dead center and goes up again for the last stroke, which is your exhaust stroke. This time, your exhaust valve is open, allowing the burned and unburned gases to go up. go out, sorry, go out of the cylinder. Both here in the combustion stroke and in the compression stroke, the pistons are the intake and exhaust valves are both closed. Here, intake valve open, exhaust valve closed. Here, both valve closed. Here, both valves closed. And here, exhaust valve open, intake valve closed. So that is your diesel engine or compression ignition engine. Bakit nating tinawag na compression, bakit nila tinawag na compression ignition engine? Because it ignites the fuel through the heat of compression created by the very high compression ratio of the engine. The petrol or gasoline engine. The petrol or gasoline engine uses a highly volatile gasoline fuel. Okay? As compared to that of the diesel engine, your gasoline or petrol engine has a compression ratio of generally 10 to 1. There are also compression ratio of 10.5 to 1 and 11.5 to 1. Okay, these are in the high performance engines. So, bakit hindi ganun kataas yung compression ratio ng petrol engine? Dahil ito, the fuel is highly volatile as compared to that of the diesel fuel. And it has a spark plug. Kaya tinatawag din ito na spark ignition engine because the fuel, compressed air fuel mixture is ignited or burned or combusted by the spark created by the spark plug. That's the difference between diesel fuel or compression ignition engine and the gasoline or petrol engine or spark ignition engine. Yung una, compression ignition, ito, spark ignition. Ito, yung petrol ignition engine natin needs air, fuel, gasoline fuel, and spark to create combustion. The diesel fuel type engine needs heated air, heated by the heat of compression, and the atomized diesel fuel only. No more. So, diagnostic-wise, kapag yung engine mo is diesel and hindi siya umaandar, then you have to basically look at two things. Is there sufficient amount of air that goes inside the cylinder, and is the fuel atomization okay? Is there enough fuel to be atomized? Is there enough pressure from the fuel pump or injection pump to create a highly atomized diesel fuel spraying or injection into the combustion chamber? Whereas in the gasoline, you have to look at three things. Meron bang hangin? Is it enough na pumapasok sa cylinder? Meron bang kuryente that creates the spark sa dulo ng spark? And then, meron bang tinatawag nating what's this, fuel, petrol fuel. Is it enough? Meron ba siya? Okay ba yung injection niya? Okay ba yung pasok niya in cases of carbureted type engines? So these are the differences between the two types of engine based on fuel injection. So there are also two types of engine based on cycle of operation. Merong two-stroke cycle engine, and we have also the four-stroke cycle engine. Bakit yung isa is tinatawag na four-stroke cycle engine? The four-stroke cycle engine needs, okay, to perform or creates one power stroke. Okay? Creates one power stroke every every two crankshaft revolutions. Each stroke corresponds to 180 degrees of crankshaft travel. So, magiging dalawang 360 degrees. So, alam naman po natin that the crankshaft rotates 360 degrees to complete one revolution. So, dalawang revolutions ng crankshaft, which is equivalent to 720 degrees, ang kailangan para makakreate siya ng isang power stroke. Okay? So, repeat. Two complete crankshaft revolutions, one power stroke. Ano naman yung two-stroke cycle engine? Yung two-stroke cycle engine naman, kung naririnig nyo yung mga commercials sa mga radio or televisions, mga nauna, nung uso pa yung nilalagyan ng tuti. Okay? Yung, if you remember, yung two-stroke cycle, minimixan ng tuti oil yung gasolina. Ito yung mga two-stroke cycle. Sa commercial noon, sinasabi nila, isang ikot. Okay? Isang ikot lang ha. Ng crankshaft, isang power din. Isang ikot, isang putok. So in every crankshaft revolution, complete 360 degrees crankshaft revolution, isang power yan. Paano? Meron kasi tayong dito tinatawag na ibang arrangement. Meron siyang kapag tinignan nyo, look at the illustration. Meron siyang wala siyang valves. Okay? Ito yung difference na isa. Walang valves. Yung mga port niya, okay? Yung exhaust port niya at saka yung inlet ports niya are open. And meron siya ditong tinatawag na scavenging port. O paano naman nag-ooperate to? Pag pababa, initially, kapag kayong piston is nasa baba, anong mangyayari? Dito, yung piston halimbawa is papakyat. Kapag itong part nito reaches this part, the lower, the upper portion of the inlet port dito, papasok na ngayon yung hangin dito, yung intake air. Okay? So, paakyat siya for exhaust. So, uh, uh, itutulak niya ngayon yung some parts of intake air dito. Pumapasok na rin dyan. Okay? Para itulak niya to, and yung pagtulak niya rito, when the top portion of this one reaches this, makuklose na to. So all of this, papalabas na dyan sa exhaust port mo. Palabas na siya. Ngayon, kapag nandun na siya sa taas, magkukompress na siya agad-agad. Ikukompress na niya yung mga natrap dito na air and fuel. Kita nyo rito. So, akit siya, itatrap niya yung parte na to, yung mga air and fuel mixture dito. And after the top dead center reaches the upper or closes this exhaust port, pagka-close niyan, that is already the beginning of compression stroke. Paakyat sa diretso and mag-create na kayo ng spark plug as soon as the piston top reaches the top dead center. Tingnan nyo dito. Kung nandito na siya, take air, papasok naman na dito. Dahil umakyat siya rito, kinuha niya yung mga naan dito, yan, mga yan, andyan na air and fuel mixture. Kinuha niya, tinap niya dun sa taas. Magli-leave ng partial vacuum dito. That will suck air and fuel sa atmosphere para dito. Will help para pumasok dito. So, kikita nyo rito, exhaust, okay, dalawang pataas, exhaust and compression, one stroke lang pataas. Okay? Pag power naman nito, pag power niya, pababa siya, open yung exhaust port, tapos yung that is already the end of pag narating niya rito, that is already allowing yung mga exhaust byproducts natin dito na lumabas. And note, tignan nyo dito sa banda rito, sarado na yung intake port. So pababa to para itulak naman itong air and fuel mixture dito towards this. Tapos, further movement will allow or will push these air and fuel mixtures dito, palabas dito, to fill yung cylinder na naman ulit. Ready for okay? So, in the upward movement of the piston, sabi ko nga, mag-create dito ng vacuum. That will create suction stroke dito para pumasok your air and fuel. This transfer port will allow air and fuel mixture to go up the piston when the piston crown reaches. Yan yung operation ng two-stroke cycle. Ganyan siya. 2 piston strokes lang para makapag-produce ng power, isang power. So, dyan po nagtatapos yung presentation natin, yung lesson natin for today, mga kaibigan, mga mag-aaral, mga minamahal naming mga enthusiast, mga guro na nagmamasid sa paligid. Ang sa akin lang po is makatulong lang. And as response po doon sa mga nag-message ulit sa atin, yes, we will discuss more on the basics. Pag-uusapan din natin yung tungkol sa yung request nyo patungkol sa carbureted engine and the contact point ignition engine. Kasi kapag ka na-master natin yun, kahit saan tayo mapunta, when we come to have an experience with the engine management system, the modern engine management system, we will be more than comfortable para pag-aralan ulit yung mga yon. Kasi kung we will go directly sa modern day cars, wala. Mawawala tayo sa kalagitnaan. Hindi tayo magiging as successful as possible. Hindi tayo magiging komportable. And napatunayan ko na yan sa ilang taong ko na rin sa larangan ng automotive. When I was with the European cars, medyo mabigat kapag kulang tayo sa basics. Theory. Yung skills, madali lang pag-aralan yan kapag naandun ka sa workshop. Pero kailangan alam mo yung mga fundamental knowledge, fundamental theories, the operational principles of the parts composing these systems. Pero kung hindi, mawawala ka. And it's our responsibility as educators na turuan yung ating mga mag-aaral, ating mga estudyante. Ibigay natin kung ano yung nararapat para sa kanila. We must not shortchange them, or else para lang tayong negosyante na nagbenta na binayaran ng halimbawa ng 100 para sa 1 kilong bigas, pero in the end, ang ibinigay lang natin sa kanila is 50%, 40% ng binayaran nila. That's shortchanging our students. Although sinasabi natin na hindi sila nagbabayad at gobyerno ang nagbabayad, scholar sila. Still, they are under our responsibility. Improve natin kung ano yung kaya nating improve, kasi we cannot teach them skills. Una, we don't have the equipments. Pangalawa, bato-bato sa langit, may mga equipments pa na hindi pa natin nakikita. Okay? So, we cannot even discuss these things to them. So, mag-aral tayo, pagbutihin natin para maibigay naman natin yung nararapat sa ating mga estudyante. So, till here, and see you next time, mga kaibigan.